because in my email box, it shows up, Barrett Media, and the big headline is, why Stephen A. Smith should be the person news talk radio host emulate. And I'm like, wow. Barrett Media is trolling me today. And trust me, I have nothing but respect for Jason Barrett and Barrett Media and everybody that works there. They have individual writers who write opinion pieces. This is written by Pete Mundo, and it's a story celebrating Stephen A. Smith. And I'm sitting there going, man, why is it? Let me go click on and read this story. And I get to early on in the story that's built on the gist that I'm reading directly from the story. Stephen A. Smith has wisely played in the political sandbox with little evidence to suggest it's hurting his brand as a sports commentator. In fact, Stephen A.'s brand is now growing beyond the world of sports, which is to his benefit. Then it quotes Stephen A. Smith from The Hollywood Reporter. I'm not a politician, Smith recently told The Hollywood Reporter. I don't believe I'm qualified to be a politician. I don't have any experience, nor have I ever had any interest. But I do love talking about issues that matter to the everyday American citizen. The way things are looking right now, it's nothing but chaos, and it's going downhill. The binary system that we are living in can't come together on a damn thing. Let's call balls and strikes. Let's get back to doing what's in the best interest of the country instead of the best interest of ourselves. That's why I believe people have been trying to coax me into joining the fray of politics, end quote from Stephen A. Smith. Then the writer, Pete Mundo, picks up, this is brilliant commentary from Smith. He's not diving headfirst into one side of the political pool, but rather branding himself as someone who is criticizing the binary system and is interested in calling balls and strikes while getting back to doing what's in the best interest of the country. I'm sitting there, oh, wow. So I'm reading this morning after last night, all of us, most of the world sitting around like, oh, wow, we're at the brink of World War III. Israel's bombing Iran. Will Iran respond? Will America get dragged into this? And I wake up this morning and hop on my email, and there's a story talking about how brilliant Stephen A. Smith is for jumping into politics. And I started thinking about, we're at the brink of war, and we have all this chaos in America. Tomorrow, June 14th, what is it? No King's Day. They're planning protests and riots and looting all across the country to support illegal immigration. And there are people that are taking Stephen A. Smith entering the political fray seriously. And because it's not just Pete Mundo. Everybody's posting and talking about Stephen A. Smith. People that I like and respect. There's those group of young guys, the Cartier family or whatever. I saw they put out a tweet yesterday praising Stephen A. Smith for something he said political or whatever, and he's this voice of reason. And I'm just, how did we get here where someone this fraudulent, such an imposter, could be being celebrated? A bona fide idiot, pathological liar. And this isn't me sitting here. I know somebody, oh, Whitlock, he's jealous of Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith, he's got the bag. He's making all this money. And Whitlock's just jealous. And he's got this obsession with Stephen A. Smith. It's not that. There are people that I dislike that I am more than willing to praise when they get things right. If Stephen A. Smith gets things right. But I just think it's dangerous. We're living in a time where American culture has been so dumbed down that someone as fraudulent as Stephen A. Smith could enter into politics after making a complete mess of sports commentary and being proven time and time and time again he knows nothing about sports. Now we've reached a place where it's so dumb in America that a bona fide idiot, pathological liar with obvious frauds passed off in his narrative background. We're all celebrating him entering into politics. And I think of the movie, what's it called, Idiocracy? And I think, like, I wake up, we're at the brink of World War III, and there are people celebrating Stephen A. Smith entering into politics, and I'm like, this is when I go to, well, this is just hopeless. We are at the end times. It can't get any dumber than this. And so I scrolled past, eventually after I read the story, I scroll further down the email that Barrett Media put out this morning. And I stumbled across something that had never crossed my mind. I had no idea of the importance or the significance of June 13th to my own life. But I scroll down, and every day, Barrett Media puts out a list of this happened on this date. And the second or third thing I read is on June 13th, 2015, ESPN fires Jason Whitlock from running The Undefeated while he's still with ESPN. And I'm like, so today is the 10-year anniversary of ESPN removing me from The Undefeated. And so it's that particular Stephen A. Smith headline provoked me to, like, oh, wow, this is the 10-year anniversary of me getting dumped by The Undefeated. It's one of the lowest points in my career. And so the timing of, here we are promoting at the very top of this email, their number one story is everyone should emulate Stephen A. Smith. And then you scroll further down and say, hey, and this is the 10-year anniversary of ESPN turning away from Jason Whitlock. There's some symmetry. There's a message there that over the course of 10 years, things have been so dumbed down in American sports media and just in America, in the world, that, and I'm sorry for being this transparent and for, I'm sorry for appearing arrogant here with this next statement. But Barrett Media, a source that I trust, a website and a media outlet that I trust and like and admire, is celebrating the dumbest, most fraudulent sports media person of the last 30 to 40 years and saying everyone should emulate him on the 10-year anniversary, and I apologize for the errors, that the best and most accomplished, by the grace of God, not through me, I told you I'm an idiot, these are blessings from God, but the most accomplished, the best sports writer of the last 30 years, this is the 10-year anniversary of when ESPN completed its mission accomplished of trying to destroy that person, me. So the worst, most fraudulent person is being celebrated on the day that we remember that the best sports writer of that era gets eviscerated and removed from ESPN. And it made me go a cut deeper, and I'm about to bring the NBA Finals and Tyrese Halliburton and Stephen A. Smith into this. But it made me remember, like, there was a time when ESPN aspired to be the worldwide leader in sports. And there was a time when ESPN aspired to be the smartest media outlet in sports. And you have to be smart in order to be the worldwide leader. And so it made me think about, like, when I got rehired at ESPN, what were they doing then? They hired me. And this is in 2013. So this is before Keith Olbermann had completely destroyed his brand. But they had just rehired Keith Olbermann. They had just and this is before Nate Silver destroyed his brand. They had just made a deal with Nate Silver to bring 538 to ESPN. At the time, and there were stories written in 2013 about how John Skipper, when he was running ESPN, he had this aspiration of making ESPN the smartest sports media outlet in the history of sports. And just that was his goal, his vision. They had Bill Simmons. They had Dan Le Batard. They had Colin Cowherd. They had Wright Thompson had been there for 6, 7, 8 years at this time, the great sports writer. And then they add me, Keith Olbermann, Nate Silver, all at the same time. And it was John Skipper's vision. We're going to be the smartest outlet because we're going to be the worldwide leader. And so here we are a decade later, and ESPN is the worldwide misleader. That's where we've ended up with ESPN, the worldwide misleader in sports. Don't miss a second of Fearless. Hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with our latest content.